The year was 1990. I was attending Oklahoma Baptist University in Shawnee, Oklahoma. And my parents lived in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, over Thanksgiving holiday in 1990, I drove to Kansas City to stay with my parents for the holiday season of Thanksgiving. Well, the day before Thanksgiving came, when I was there in Kansas City at my parents' home, and I decided to take a drive. So I told my parents that I would be back later. I was going to drive around the neighborhood and in the city some. So I took off, and as I was driving up in this little city called Parkville, which is on the outskirts of Kansas City, Missouri, I came to this really beautiful neighborhood with these magnificent homes. They were just enormous in size, and they were just brand new and absolutely beautiful. Well, I drove in the back of the neighborhood on a road that was not finished. It was a dirt road. And then I hit the pavement after driving in on the dirt road at the back. And I began driving around the neighborhood, and I had my radio up, listening to the radio. And I was not wearing my seatbelt in the car. And as I was driving around, I was looking at these beautiful homes. And I began to be jealous and envious in my heart. And I began to get upset. And then I cried out to God and said, well, God, how come I can't have one of these houses? You know, for myself, all these people have these beautiful homes, yet I don't have one. I have nothing. Just a car to drive. And then I drove a little further, and then I got convicted on the inside that what I had said was wrong, crying out to God for a nice house. So I pulled the car over, and I put it in park. And then I asked God to forgive me of my sins. I said, God, forgive me for wanting a material possession like this, like these really nice homes. That it was wrong and to be envious and jealous of others. And I really sensed the voice of the Lord speak to me that day. He spoke to me in my heart, and he said, don't worry about it. You're forgiven. Now put your seatbelt on. And I thought that was rather odd, because it was a very distinctive voice inside my mind, my heart, my spirit. I just knew that's what he said. And I said, that was kind of strange. So I turned off the radio, and I put my seatbelt on. And I began to drive off. About 45 seconds later, I was driving out the front of the new neighborhood. You know, remember, I came in from the back, so I wasn't familiar with the front. But I was going up this very long hill, and at the top of the hill of the neighborhood, there was some construction work going on. There was no stoplight, and there was no stop sign. So I thought, well, I'll just drive up and see where the road leads. Well, as soon as I got up on top of the hill, I noticed I drove right into a highway with oncoming traffic. And it was a 4-lane highway, and I looked to the left, and there were cars coming right at me, and they slammed on their brakes and skidded to a halt, and they missed me. Well, then I looked to my right. I was crossing the other 2 lanes from the other 2 lanes coming the opposite direction, and I saw this big white pickup truck, and I knew he was going to hit me in the back. So I punched the gas, I hit the gas as fast as it could go, but it was too late. The big white pickup truck smashed me in the back of the car, and suddenly I remember the car spinning around. I remember it was like slow motion. I remember seeing the speaker cover on my back speaker fly off of the car and out of the broken window in the back. So the car spun around 3 times. There were skid marks going in circles 3 times. The truck hit me going about 55, 60 miles an hour. And the car went off the highway, and it went and parked in an intersection that was going to come onto the highway. It just parked there. It didn't flip, thank heavens. Everything inside of the car was outside of the car. Every window in the car was smashed. And that day, I had 2 bruises from that accident. I had one on my hip, and I had a bruise on my shoulder, both from the seatbelt holding me inside of the car. And remember, 45 seconds earlier, the Lord told me to put my seatbelt on. That day, he spoke to me. He said, Tim, trust me. I'm going to use you on this day. I'm going to use you in your life to serve me and to serve my purposes. Truly, he has called me to tell others about his saving love and giving his Son to die on the cross for my sins and for their sins. That he died and he rose again from the grave, that all who may believe in the name of Jesus Christ will be saved and will spend eternity in heaven. And that is the truth of the gospel. That is why I'm here today. This is Truth Watcher. God bless, and have a great day. We will see you next time.